Hello everybody, welcome back to Layout. In this video I'm going to show you the build of the first kit, the first building going into the Harbour scene. And this is a kit called Bonnie Wrenches. It's from Casey's workshop. So I've taken out all the parts and spread them out like this. One of the issues with the kit is that it didn't come with building instructions. This was mentioned on the website when I purchased it, and it was also the reason why this kit was a little bit cheaper than normally. So the first thing for me to do is to figure out which parts belong together and which parts go where. But I have a couple of pictures here, and so it shouldn't be too difficult to figure that out. This is all the bracing glued in place. The previous two kits that I put together, I had a couple of issues with the clapboard that started warping after the staining. And I think one of the reasons may have been that I didn't have enough bracing. So now I added some additional bracing, so not just only vertical bracing but also horizontally. And I hope that will help to prevent most of the warping. But what I will do anyway is after the staining I will put it flat on a piece of paper and then put some weights on top of it. Let it dry for a couple of days to make sure that no warping can happen while it is drying. So let's see how that will work out. I've given all of the clapboard a stain. So let me zoom in so you can see the color a bit better. It's I've chosen a light brown grayish stain. And then I want to add a beige light brownish color to finish it with. So I had to add a little bit more bracing as well, for example like here, because when I was staining this part, this started all curling up, and so the additional bracing helped preventing that. So also parts like this, for example, I had to add some additional bracing. So the warping really is a problem if you do the staining with water-thinned acrylic paints. But anyway, when I added this bracing, it worked out nice. So the next step is to paint it. The other thing I've done is already cutting out all of the windows. So this is also sort of the color that I will be adding as a finishing layer on the clapboard. So I have to cut out and glue in place acetate for the glazing of the windows. That's also one of the next steps to do. So I have painted the clapboard, and let me zoom in to show you the color that I have put on it. So the color is a mixture of these colors. So I have used about 50-50 of the first two colors, light earth and medium sea gray, and I've added a little bit of this greenish white to make it a little bit lighter. But I attempted to recreate this color here. So that's the example, or these are the example pictures that came with the kit. And I like this color combination a lot, so I tried to recreate that, and I think I managed to do that quite well. So if I put this next to it here, I think that worked out quite nicely. I've also painted all of the windows and doors and put or glued acetate on the back for the glazing. And yeah, the other thing is, so this kit is called Bonnie's Wrenches, but obviously I will not be selling wrenches on the layout. Instead I will be selling fish, and so I made up this sign here. So it's the same color scheme, same lettering, but I will turn the kit into Red's Seafood Market. So that's the sign that will go here. I have now also glued all the doors and windows in place, and I even glued together this little dormer here. So I glued on signs as well. So this will be a sign mimicking a metal sign. So I gave the impressions of nails in the corners. This sign will get some rust effects, which I haven't done yet. So then there's this sign here that will still need to get the effect of paint that is peeling off. And I've started creating that effect already here. And that it's not done on this side yet, just to show you the difference. But one of the things I did when I glued on this sign was I soaked it into a thinned PVA glue mixture, so that the colors started running out a bit. And so the idea is to get really a faded, old looking effect. So I'll also add the effect of paint that is peeling on this side, and then when that is done I'll glue everything together. These are all the walls glued together. Let me turn it around so you can see it from different angles. The back side. So the door on this side, I've glued that in place in open position. I think it will add a little bit of interest to be able to have some interior in the building to look at, and I think that will add a little bit of interest to the overall scenery. As you can see, I also finished the peeling paint effect on this sign, and I did the same on this sign as well. And then we have the metal sign on this side, which I gave a rusty appearance. The other thing I did was add the trimming. So that really gives the building a nice finish. So there's a bit of trimming here as well. So now what is remaining is to put the roof in place. So I'll be doing that next. As you can see, I've got a bit of a mess on my desk. But anyway, I painted the roof. That means I gave it a base color, and I also painted the roof for the little dormer and started finishing the last bits of details on that. This is a very green roof, but I will just have this as a base color, and the reason for making it this color is that it is more or less similar as on these pictures, and as I mentioned before, I really liked the look of this building, so I tried to mimic the same effect. So it's sort of a greenish brownish color, so maybe it's metal plates with copper in it, and so the copper is oxidizing and getting green, but then simultaneously there's quite a bit of rust on it as well. And I hope to make the same effect here. So I tried out a little bit on sort of the technique to get the brownish look on it. And I think what I need to do is use a very soft brush, long brush, put a little bit of paint on it, make it quite wet, and then sort of brush it with the long side over the green, and so then you get sort of this effect here. So the first attempts were this resulted in this, which I don't think is really what I want, but it's more this type of effect that I want. Same here in the corner, that's sort of the effect that I'm after. The other thing I've done is I've sort of reinforced the roof. It's just a thin card, and when I'm going to start weathering it and put the brownish color on it with a lot of water, I think it may be warping a bit, so I try to reinforce it, try and circumvent the warping. So let's see how that goes. Oh yes, I forgot to tell you, in case you wonder how I made the greenish color. It is a mixture of these colors here: ochre, light green, and deep brown. So it's mostly the first two and a little bit of the deep brown. So that is giving this color. Okay, I finished all the details on the roof, and I have started putting on some brown color on the roof. And I just wanted to show you how I'm painting on, how I'm applying the brownish color. So what I'm using is this color here, Rust Tracks. It's a rather dark brownish color. As I mentioned, I'm using this soft brush, just putting a little bit of paint on, and then dip it into water, make it really thinned down, and then I'm brushing it on like this in long strokes. And by using a lot of water, you can really obtain an even effect on the roof. So I think this turns out really good. And this is the entire building finished. So I finished painting the roof. I added the dormer on top, and I added two chimneys, so one large one and two smaller ones. And I did a little bit of weathering, especially where the chimneys are. I added two lamps on this side and then another one on that side. So that's the entire building finished. And so this building, the idea is that it will go over here on the layout as part of the harbor scene.